She turned the key while my daughter was still inside. That sound, the click of metal against metal, will live in my head forever. Karen Driscoll, the HOA president of Willow Glen Heights, used her master key to walk straight into my home. And she didn't know that every time she touched that lock, my system recorded her fingerprints. I wasn't even supposed to be home. That's what she said, standing on my porch. Fake badge glinting under the sun like authority itself. Routine inspection, she claimed. But the look in her eyes wasn't professional, it was ownership. Like my home, my rules, my family were just another box on her clipboard. My name's Caleb Monroe. I design digital security systems for a living. My daughter Maya was 16, home alone that afternoon, and the only reason Karen walked away that day instead of in handcuffs was because I let her. This house wasn't just drywall and paint, it was the last place my wife touched before cancer took her. The porch swing, she picked the trim she painted, even while her hands shook from chemo. Karen said that paint was too reflective for HOA standards. I said it was memory, not a violation. But people like Karen don't see homes, they see control. When I got the notification from my server admin override detected, I drove faster than I should have. By the time I pulled in, she was stepping off my porch, clipboard in hand, pretending nothing had happened. I didn't yell. I just said calm as I could manage. Your face is on 3 cameras. You used a master key. That's criminal entry. She laughed, this cold little snort. We're authorized. No? I said, blocking the door you're pretending to be. Back inside, Maya was frozen near the kitchen phone, still in her hand. She just opened it. Dad, she whispered. Didn't even knock. Her voice cracked like it hurt to say it. I told her, it's all on camera. You did everything right. But that look, fear, confusion, shame stuck with me. She was 16. She should have been angry, not scared. That night, I watched the footage until my eyes burned. 3 angles, 4 audio triggers, 1 perfect fingerprint on the doorknob. Enough to end careers. But I didn't want revenge. I wanted safety. The next morning, Karen waved at me across the street like neighbors do. That smile, wide rehearsed, made me want to break something. So I smiled back. Because she didn't know, I'd already queued the footage, backed it up across 2 continents. I thought about calling the DA right away, but first I needed to know if I was the only one. Turns out I wasn't. Mrs. Langford across the street said she'd heard her door unlatch at night and thought she was imagining things. Jeff and Tessa Grimaldi told me Karen claimed she needed to check attic insulation for energy compliance. Another neighbor admitted he was in the shower when she let herself into his yard. This wasn't one rogue inspection. It was a pattern abuse disguised as order. For a while I thought maybe I was overreacting. Maybe I was the problem. Maybe my grief had turned every rule into a threat. I actually sat at my desk one night and asked myself if I was losing it. But then I saw Maya sitting on her bed, knees to her chest, door-locked headphones in, but no music playing. I just feel safer this way, she said. That was when the doubt ended. When your kid doesn't feel safe in her own home, you don't question yourself, you fight. I started pulling data. HOA smart locks, vendor logs, internal access records. Karen's master key admin override A1 had been used on 6 homes in 3 weeks. None marked as emergencies. 1 entry at 11:12 p.m. on a Saturday. That wasn't oversight. That was trespass. I built the file timestamps, IP traces, email headers. Then I went to an HOA meeting just to watch. Karen sat at the head of the table talking about visual harmony like she was the mayor of a private kingdom. Then she mentioned something new, Section 4.3b, Emergency Compliance Discretion. My stomach dropped. There was no 4.3b. I'd read the bylaws twice. When I called her on it, she smiled that politician's smile. We're revising it. You mean inventing it? The room went silent. Tom Bennett, the HOA secretary, broke his pen in half right there. That was the crack in her armor. I found Tom outside later, pale, shaking. You know she's lying, I said. You broke your pen. He tried to deflect, mumbled about unity. Unity doesn't cover breaking into people's homes, I told him. He didn't answer, but he didn't walk away either. Days later, a notice appeared on my door, compliance demand. Section 4.3b, printed on ivory paper, gold, HOA crest, threat of liens and fines. Maya found it first. "Is she threatening us now?" she asked. I peeled it off, scanned it, logged it. Fake clause, fake power. She was escalating. So was I. I tracked every log entry across the neighborhood and built a timeline. I reached out to the Grimaldis again. Their data matched mine. Karen's key their lock same night they were gone. That made 7 homes, 7 violations. I was done waiting. I called the city's housing department and filed an inquiry just enough to put her on record. Then I started building something else exposure. At 2:00 a.m., I sat surrounded by screens, light flickering off stacks of files and photos. My wife's sketch of our backyard still hung above the desk. I thought about how Karen had walked through that space, our memories, and treated them like inventory. I emailed a local investigative reporter, Vanessa Lowe, who once broke a story about another HOA bullying a disabled veteran. "I have proof of unauthorized entries," I wrote. "Video, digital logs, internal memos. You'll want to see this." She replied in 12 minutes. "This is explosive. I'm coming tomorrow." When Vanessa arrived, she didn't waste time. I showed her everything, the footage of Karen entering my house, the access logs, the forged clause. She watched the video Karen unlocking the door, stepping inside, and didn't flinch. "This is enough to go public," she said. "But if we air just your story, she'll call it a misunderstanding." I slid the second folder across the table. "There are 6 more homes." Vanessa nodded. "Then this isn't about one bad inspection. It's a system of fear." That night, Maya sat beside me on the porch swing, sketchbook in her lap. "Are you scared?" she asked. "Not scared," I said. "Just done being quiet." She looked at me steady. "Can I say something on the video?" I hesitated, then nodded. At sunrise, we recorded her statement. No script. Just Maya sitting on that swing, her mom once built, voice calm but trembling. "I'm 16, she said. "And a woman I never invited into my life used a key I never gave her to walk into my room while I was alone. I didn't scream because she acted like it was normal, like I didn't matter." She paused. "I'm tired of being scared in my own house." That was enough. We sent the footage to Vanessa. She edited the segment video, evidence, neighbor interviews, HOA documents, and Maya's statement as the closing anchor. Headline: Master Key. No consent. Local HOA president caught entering homes without permission. The story went live Friday at 7:00 a.m. By 7:12, my phone was vibrating nonstop. By 7:30, it had hit Reddit, Twitter, local news feeds. By 8:15, the neighborhood message board exploded. Karen's name was everywhere. Residents who'd been silent for years started sharing their own stories: false fines, fake clauses, intimidation. The silence finally cracked. By noon, the HOA clubhouse was packed for an emergency session. I brought Maya with me. She wanted to be there. Dozens of residents stood shoulder to shoulder holding printouts of the article. Cameras outside, the air thick with anger and relief. Karen walked in at exactly 12, tailored suit, trembling hands. "There's misinformation being spread," she started. "Stop," I said from the front row. She froze. "You walked into my house. You stood in my daughter's room and called it compliance." Tom stood next. His voice wavered, but his words didn't. "The documents are real. The policy was never approved. She told us not to record master key usage, said emergency discretion made it legal." Karen's mouth opened, closed. No one backed her. Jeff Grimaldi stepped forward, holding his violation letter high. "She entered my attic while we were at the hospital," he said. "You want to know what visual harmony looks like? It's people knowing they're safe in their own homes." Applause broke out first, scattered, then swelling. And then Maya stood up. No cue, no warning. "You opened our door," she said softly. The whole room went still. I thought maybe it was my fault for not screaming, but now I know it wasn't. You thought no one would say anything, but I just did. Karen reached for the gavel. "This meeting is over," she snapped. Tom stepped forward, took it from her hand. "No, Karen, you don't get to end this." Laura, the vice president, leaned toward her mic. "I move for a vote of no confidence. seconded Ken said. Hands rose around the table, every single one. Karen looked from face to face, realization sinking in. "I'll sue all of you," she whispered. Tom didn't blink. "You already did every time you used that key." She walked out alone. The door shut behind her. The air in that room felt lighter, like someone had finally opened a window after years of stale fear. No cheers, no celebration, just quiet. The kind of quiet that means it's finally over. By sunset, the board posted a statement. "President Driscoll has voluntarily stepped down." The rest of us knew the truth. She'd been forced out, stripped of her power. That night I sat on the new porch swing Maya and I built together, the same spot where her mom used to drink her morning coffee. The neighborhood was calm. No inspectors, no threats taped to doors. Just wind and the soft creak of chain on wood. Karen's gone, but her shadow left a mark. Still, the lock on my door answers to me again, to us, and that's all that matters. Because power only works if people believe in it. The moment you stop being afraid, it falls apart.